Well, 2 years after Hamas's savage assault that killed over 1,200 Israelis and took 250 hostages, Israel remains steadfast in its fight to defend its people and defeat the terrorist organization Hamas. The 48 hostages still unaccounted for, many feared dead. A breakthrough may be emerging for the remaining live hostages as President Trump's peace plan drives talks aimed at ending the violence and securing their release. Joining me now is Washington Stand reporter Casey Harper, who's been tracking this story throughout the day. Casey, what's the latest out of Israel?
Yeah, well, Tony, it has been a somber day across Israel. As you mentioned, today marks 2 years since Hamas's horrific October 7th attack, a day that was observed with sirens sounding nationwide and memorials that were held from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. Families of hostages, they gathered in Hostages Square and across the country to honor their loved ones. Meanwhile, indirect peace talks between Israel and Hamas resumed in Egypt, centered on President Trump's 20-point peace plan. Now, both sides are considering terms for a ceasefire, which include hostage release and expanded humanitarian aid to Gaza. Now, a U.S. delegation, which includes Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, they joined those discussions today. And also earlier today, President Trump met with Canada's Prime Minister at the White House and expressed optimism that an agreement could be within reach.
I think there's a possibility that we could have peace in the Middle East. It's something even beyond the Gaza situation. We want a release of the hostages immediately, etc. And so our team is over there now.
Well, Tony, as Israel remembers one of the deadliest terror attacks in decades, the world is watching closely.
All right, thanks, Casey, for that update. These past 2 years have revealed much. Not only the failure of the 2005 Gaza disengagement, which effectively handed control of Gaza to Hamas, which they used to launch their attack on Israel, but also a global rise in anti-Semitism like anything we've seen in nearly a century. Now, here at Family Research Council, our support for Israel has never wavered, and it never will. Now, that doesn't mean a blank check for any government policy, that we agree with everything that they do, but it does mean that we should pursue policies aligned with Scripture, affirming Israel's right to exist and to live free from the threat of annihilation. The October 7th attack was barbaric. I've been to Israel 5 times since October 7th. I've been through these communities. I've met with former hostages, families of hostages. This must not be minimized. And we should continue to pray for Israel. And later in the program, Chris Mitchell, CBN's Middle East Bureau Chief, is going to join us from Jerusalem. Now, turning to another critical issue here at home, Casey, the U.S. Supreme Court heard a major case today involving religious freedom and free speech. What can you tell us? Yeah, you're right, Tony. This is a huge case with big implications. So Christian therapist Kaylee Childs, she's challenging Colorado's ban on so-called conversion therapy for minors. She argues it censors voluntary conversations about faith and identity.
Colorado's law hurts kids struggling with gender dysphoria through dual development. If counselors wish to engage clients on these issues, the law limits them to one option of encouraging kids to reject their body. That is a tragedy.
Childs says the law violates her First Amendment rights and prevents her from helping clients who simply want their lives to align with their faith. Now, this case in question, Childs v. Salazar, it could set a national precedent on professional speech and religious liberty, Tony.
All right, thanks, Casey. We're going to actually go a little bit deeper in that case with ADF Senior Counsel Jonathan Scruggs a little bit later when he joins us. But first, another news related to the courts. Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill is taking on the FDA over the abortion drug mifepristone. I spoke with her earlier today, Casey, but it was before I saw the suit. What's the latest on this?
Yeah, that's right, Tony. I know this is an issue you and FRC have been leading on, but yesterday Louisiana filed a lawsuit challenging the Biden administration's 2023 FDA rule. Now, that rule allows the abortion pill mifepristone to be mailed, even to states like Louisiana that ban abortions. So the lawsuit argues that the pill is unsafe and that the FDA just ignored those key safety concerns and that the rule, of course, violates the law. Louisiana, they're seeking to block the rule to protect their laws, unborn babies, and the health of women, Tony.
All right, Casey, tomorrow, actually here on Washington Watch, we're going to be joined by the Attorney General of Louisiana, and she's going to tell us why Louisiana had to take this legal action against the Trump administration to uphold the state's pro-life laws. Thanks so much, Casey.
Thanks, Tony.